Hello, this is Collette from the Sacred Rose Temple. I really have been trying to find the time to share with you all as we go through such an intense time. I am always sharing about intensity, and as the months have gone by, I've shared about those times that have been challenging for us. But I can honestly say that in all the years I've been working in spirituality, I have never felt intensity like it. And I would compare it to going through probably a birth canal. It feels like we're in the throes of labor and that there is this reckoning that is going on before we come out the other side. And I know that the astrology and the cosmology is kind of really, really in places that are making us have to change. They are throwing things at us saying, look at this, deal with this needs to change. And particularly in the aspects of shadow, the things that we have been repressing inside ourselves, behaviors, certain ways that we work in the world or in with others or in our work, in our relationships, and in aspect of the archetypes that we hold as human beings, and certain archetypes making themselves known to us that we have repressed. I've been sharing in my Jungian group Through the Lens about the archetype of the Shapeshifter, and that seems to be quite dominant in the collective at the moment. People realizing the shapeshifter, people dreaming about shapeshifting. So yeah, that's a big one, and there are many, like the queen archetype, the king, the magician. They're all coming through at the moment, and so it's a really good time to be aware of a major archetype that is showing itself to you in your life, trying to get you to get a greater handle on it with regards to its shadow and how that moves to become more light for you in your life. But the other big thing is really about relationships. And that is, if any one of you is affected by Venus, hello, massively here as a Taurian, and my sign being in Venus, being in Taurus, also just like that Venus Aphrodite energy that I so relate to as a woman, and how we are being asked to look at how we relate in particular with love, with beauty, with luxury, with abundance, with all those things that the Venus Aphrodite energy holds in our psyche. And, the whole thing about what relationship is for us, how does it show up, and what does it teach us? How do we evolve in relationship, or how do we actually get stuck and stagnant? And an evolutionary woman or woman working on herself won't settle in a relationship that is not conducive to her highest good. And many of us, me included, have patched over certain things in relationship thinking, oh, just ignore that, because of unworthiness in ourselves, because we don't believe that we can relate in all aspects of brilliantness, the sexual function, the emotional function, all the different parts that are completely conducive to having a very enlightened, intimate, connected relationship. So I'm seeing women pulling themselves up in these situations now, saying, no, this is difficult, this is heart-wrenching, this is painful, but this is not serving me. And I see the other side of the coin where women are still putting up with those things, those less than full relationships, trying to gloss the turd, as the expression I like to say. But the truth is, it all comes out in the wash anyway. The shadow always rises, the truth always comes to the surface. And so we can pretend for so long until we get sick, until illness accumulates in our body, or until a life situation becomes so unbearably toxic, or so that the pain becomes so much, or that the energy that you've got is being completely siphoned from you. It takes that often for us to get to a place where we say, okay, this is not okay, this is not working, and I need to make some changes. So all of you that are going through that at the moment, just holding on to the emotions and allowing the emotions. This time we're in is deeply emotional. It's trying to get us to release suppressed emotions, illusions, false sense of the self, all of those things that lead us out of feeling and bring us into thinking. We think how we are, we believe who we are. We're totally not tuned into the instinct or the intuition, and we're definitely not gathering the information from the collective unconscious or the unconscious, as in dreams and all those messages that are coming through that says, no, this isn't working anymore. Come on. So feeling the emotions of that is showing you it needs to change. Some of you are in really heartless work, jobs that suck your life force, that do not feed your soul or allow you on a soul path. Some of you in delusional relationships that are not serving your higher good, but rather reaffirming your woundship or your trauma bonding. Many of us are in relationships with friends that are not helpful. They're not growing. They don't allow us to be true. And I think the biggest thing that coming out of this is that we're trying to be allowed to be full, concentrate our full self. Where are you not being full, concentrate you and being loved and adored for it? And that's your responsibility for diminishing. That's your responsibility for diluting. That's your responsibility for not holding back, not living in lack, not being the less than. And this is a very, very, very strong message that your unworthiness, that your lack of self-love, your lack of understanding the magic that lies in knowing who you truly are. All those things that you've hidden about yourself because you thought, oh, I don't like them, or people aren't going to receive that. They are your magic tools through this birth canal to come into a new birth. So limiting yourself to fit into a love relationship, limiting yourself to fit in a workplace or a friendship is not going to serve you in the long run. It's all going to come out of this catacomb of chaos and show itself to you as the toxic poison in your life that it is. So sitting with that and knowing that poison often brings in death and then rebirth. A rebirth of who we are going to be. And that's the key as we birth ourselves, is to look into the bright light of the new and say, what does this new look like for me? What does the new represent? How can I fantasize? Fantasy is important to bring a picture, an ideal of what you want in life. And then how do I start to take the steps from the fantasy to bring those things into my life? What action are they asking from me? What big risks do I have to take? What sacrifices do I have to make? And there is no renewal. There is no rebirth. There is no transformation without sacrifice. So ask yourself, what are you prepared to sacrifice in order to be born anew? And if you're willing to, life will change drastically for you. You will see your life completely different. And in that difference, new things are going to begin to grow. New things are going to come at you. The path becomes open wide for the things that have been seeking you to find them. And so remember that, soul seekers, that the soul path that awaits you is beyond the illusions, the sacrifice, and into your truth of who you are and your desires of life.